Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are really digging into one of the biggest myths out there in business. This idea that growth just comes down to how much cash you throw at ads.
Right. It's almost seen as the only way, isn't it?
Exactly. And you see companies spending huge amounts trying to grab attention that just disappears. The moment the campaign stops, poof, it's gone. And they're stuck on that, that treadmill of constantly rising customer acquisition costs. It's exhausting.
It really is. A hamster wheel.
But what we're looking at today, based on our sources, points somewhere else entirely. Something, well, much more solid, more lasting than just like the flashiest ad.
We're talking about emotional equity, right? Building something real.
Precisely. A growth engine that runs on actual loyalty, not just clicks or quick sales. And look, this isn't just about, having a popular Instagram feed. It's way deeper. It's structural. It's about changing the whole relationship.
A fundamental shift.
Yeah. So our mission today is pretty clear. We need to nail down what a real brand community actually is. Then show the proof the measurable value it brings. Marketing, innovation, keeping customers, the works.
And crucially, that tech piece.
Ah, yes, the technology shift. Understanding why building on what our sources call rented land is so risky and why owning your space is the way forward.
And that's honestly where the biggest advantage comes in, strategically speaking, because it forces this total rethink. Your audience isn't just a target for sales anymore. They're partners. It's reciprocal.
So moving away from that old model, company talks at customer.
Exactly. Moving away from that one-way street, that simple transaction, company to customer. We're stepping into something more like a loop, Company talks with community talks with customer, members talk with each other. It all feeds back. Company left, right, RL, community left, right, RL, customer.
A self-sustaining ecosystem almost.
That's a great way to put it. And what's really interesting is that the sheer dedication within this community, that's probably the best long-term sign of how much emotional equity a company really has.
So it's not just nice to have, it's a core indicator.
Absolutely. It's the difference between, say, using a product because it's convenient right now versus making it part of your identity, something you actually, care about and even defend.
Okay, let's really break that down then. We hear all these terms flying around: followers, audience, subscribers, members. What makes a true brand community different from, say, just having a big email list or loads of followers somewhere like Instagram, or even, a busy Reddit forum about the brand?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer really comes from, sociology, actually. These frameworks that define what makes a group cohesive. Our sources argue that a real community, the kind that delivers strategic value, needs three specific things working together, like a three-legged stool.
Okay, Trinity, you called it earlier.
Exactly. A trinity that builds deep commitment, a real sense of belonging. It's what turns someone who just buys the product into someone who's actively involved. It's about emotional investment, not just clicks.
So what's the first leg of this stool?
The first one, and maybe the most fundamental psychologically, is shared consciousness.
Shared consciousness. Okay, what does that feel like?
It's that powerful internal sense of us, that feeling almost tribal, that you belong to this specific group. Members know they're part of it, and they recognize that shared connection, not just to the brand or the product, but really importantly, to each other.
So it's not just, I like this thing. It's we like this thing, and being part of this we matters to me.
Precisely. It's that we're in this together vibe. It means the brand story, its values, maybe even its mission, feel like their story, their values too. And crucially, this connection goes way beyond just, how well the product works.
It's not just the features.
Not at all. People connect with the brand's why. It's philosophy. Think about like a really passionate gaming community. Their commitment isn't just about the game's graphics or mechanics.
No, it's the lore, the shared history, the in-jokes.
Exactly. The lore, the victories they achieve together, the status they have within that group. That identity becomes a valuable thing, a social asset they don't want to lose just by switching to another game.
That definitely sounds stickier than just, say, a software update. Okay, so you have this internal feeling, this shared consciousness. How do brands actually, nurture that, make it tangible?
Well, that leads us straight into the second pillar, shared rituals and traditions.
Rituals and traditions. Okay, like what?
These are the things people do together, the habits and interactions that reinforce the community's culture. They can be big, organized things, or they can just emerge organically.
So give me some examples.
Well, the sources talk about big stuff like annual company summits, user conferences, maybe even brand-linked festivals. Those are like the big emotional high points.
Right, the big gatherings.
Yeah. But often, the stuff that really keeps the culture alive day to day is simpler. Regular local meetups, maybe weekly online challenges, specific ways new members are welcomed into the fold, like little onboarding rituals. And even, like you touched on, the use of specific jargon or acronyms, inside jokes, memes only the group understands, those are rituals too.
That internal language thing is fascinating. It's like it instantly tells outsiders they're not quite in yet. But for insiders, it's a badge of honor.
Yep.
Like knowing the secret handshake.
Exactly right. It's a social filter. These traditions make the community feel distinct, special, constantly reminding people why being a member is valuable.
Okay, so that brings us to the third characteristic. This one sounds a bit formal, maybe, but it's incredibly powerful for the business. Moral responsibility. Or you could call it a duty to the collective.
Moral responsibility applied to customers. That sounds intense. It almost sounds like they're, I don't know, working for the brand for free. Well, in a way, they are creating value, yes. But it's driven internally. Moral responsibility is this inherent feeling members have that they should support each other, uphold the community standards, and support the brand itself.
So how does that actually play out? What do people do?
Oh, you see it all the time in strong communities. It's when like an expert user jumps into a forum thread at 3 a.m. to give incredibly detailed troubleshooting advice to a newbie. They're not getting paid. They're doing it because they feel a responsibility to help their peers.
Providing free support, basically.
Exactly. Support the company would otherwise have to pay for. Or it's when veteran members actively welcome newcomers, guide them on the group's etiquette, the unwritten rules. That makes onboarding way smoother.
Reduces friction.
Totally. And maybe the most powerful manifestation. It's when members passionately defend the brand against what they see as unfair criticism online. On social media, in comment sections, they're invested. An attack on the brand feels like an attack on their group, their identity.
Wow. Okay, so if a company manages to foster all three, that shared consciousness, the rituals and traditions, and this moral responsibility, they've basically turned passive buyers into an active, loyal army of advocates.
That's it. It's a truly sticky, self-powering strategic asset.
A psychological lock-in that you just can't buy with ad spend.
Precisely. And that foundation is what enables real, sustainable growth, not just temporary bumps.
Right. Let's pivot then. We've defined it psychologically. Now, the bottom line, the business case. You said the benefits are measurable.
Absolutely. The sources are very clear on this. This isn't just about warm, fuzzy feelings. It translates directly into hard numbers impacting 4 key areas mainly: retention, marketing costs, handling crises, and driving innovation.
Okay, let's hit retention first. Loyalty and lifetime value LTV. That's usually where executives prick up their ears, right? Especially now when keeping customers is so critical.
It's arguably the most critical metric today. So the first big impact is on stickiness and retention. Simple as that. When someone's loyalty isn't just about the product features, but it's tied up in their social identity within that group, well, they're just much less likely to leave.
Even if a competitor offers something cheaper or newer.
Exactly. The data consistently shows this. Active community members often have LTVs that are like 30%, sometimes even 50% higher than customers who aren't involved. Why? Because the switching cost isn't just financial, it's social. Leaving means giving up their status, their connections, that sense of belonging. That's a huge cost.
So their loyalty is to the group, the feeling, the social capital they've built, not just the specs.
That's the core of it, and this deep commitment. It also fuels increased purchase frequency.
How so?
Well, engaged members are often the first people to buy new products or add-ons, partly because staying current is sometimes seen as, part of maintaining their status within the group. Plus, brands can strategically leverage this with a sense of exclusivity.
Like offering members early access, special editions.
Exactly. Beta programs, members-only merch, exclusive events. All these things reinforce their insider status, make them feel valued and rewarded for being part of the community. It deepens the lock-in.
Okay, that makes sense for loyalty. Now, marketing. You mentioned efficiency. This sounds like it could be a massive cost saver, especially if paid ads are getting so expensive.
Oh, it's the ultimate marketing engine, really, both for cost savings and for building trust.
Yeah.
The number one benefit here is just incredibly powerful word of mouth.
The holy grail of marketing.
Pretty much. We all know the most effective advertising is a genuine recommendation from someone you trust. When you've got potentially thousands of passionate members out there organically talking up your brand, sharing their positive experiences, they become your most credible, most effective, and importantly, free sales force.
They're trusted third-party validators.
Perfectly put. And this organic advocacy naturally leads to tons of authentic user-generated content, UGC.
Right, like reviews, videos, tutorials.
All of it. Unboxing videos, forum posts detailing how they use the product, inspirational stories. And the key thing is, studies show consumers trust this kind of content, like vastly more, maybe over 90% more than slick professional ads.
Because it feels real, it's relatable.
Exactly. So the community is constantly creating this high-trust marketing material for the brand, significantly lightening the load on the actual marketing team and reducing the need to constantly create new campaigns.
And that draws a straight line to lower customer acquisition costs, CAC, doesn't it? You're replacing rented eyeballs with earned advocacy.
That's the equation. High retention plus powerful organic W and UGC equals a sustainable growth model. It means less dependency on those pricey short-term ad blasts. We see data suggesting companies with strong communities can cut their CAC by anywhere from, say, 15% to maybe even 40%. That's huge. It's a shift from renting attention to owning advocacy.
Okay, super valuable in good times. But what about when things go sideways?
Yeah.
Every brand hits bumps, right? Product fails, bad PR. How does the community help then? Does it act like insurance?
It absolutely does. It provides crucial emotional shielding and resilience. Think about it. When a crisis hits a nasty bug, a product recall, negative press, a community that feels invested, that feels that moral responsibility we talked about, they don't just jump ship immediately.
They're less likely to have a knee-jerk reaction.
Much less. Because they feel like partners, almost. They're more likely to offer constructive feedback, maybe even help diagnose the problem faster. And critically, they often step up and defend the brand publicly.
How so?
In forums, on social media, they'll share their own positive experiences to counter the negativity. They become a sort of spontaneous PR shield, often stopping a single issue from spiraling into a major brand disaster. They provide balance.
That's a huge potential saving in crisis management costs and time.
Definitely. And this whole process, engaging openly, listening, even during tough times, respecting their input, builds enhanced credibility over the long run.
Because the brand seems more human, more responsive.
Exactly. It shows the brand isn't just some faceless corporation. It listens, it admits mistakes, it values the relationship. That builds authority and trust, making the brand stronger even after weathering a storm. The community essentially helps the brand earn back trust faster.
Okay, we've covered the why pretty thoroughly. Loyalty, cost savings, resilience. Let's dig into the how in more detail. How does this community actually generate concrete output? Let's start with innovation and product development, which is usually super expensive.
Right. Well, a vibrant community is basically like having a giant, always-on global R&D team that works incredibly efficiently. It's just an amazing source of real-time, highly relevant market intelligence, unbiased too.
So how do companies tap into that?
Well, first, it's an exclusive testing channel. You have this built-in group of motivated, knowledgeable users ready to beta test new features, give feedback on early prototypes, answer targeted surveys.
Instead of paying a fortune to a market research firm to guess what people might want.
Exactly. You just ask the people who already care deeply about your product. This direct line drastically reduces product failure risk.
Because you're not building stuff in a vacuum.
Precisely. You're focusing your development resources on things you know your core users actually need or want based on their direct input. This whole idea is perfectly captured by the co-creation model, especially like what Lego does.
Ah, the Lego Ideas platform. That's where fans submit their own designs, right?
Yeah.
Tell us more about how that works.
Yeah, Lego Ideas is just brilliant. It lets anyone, any fan, anywhere, submit their own original design idea for a Lego set. But it's not just a suggestion box, it's structured.
There's a process.
Right. An idea has to get 10,000 votes from other community members. If it hits that threshold, it then goes to an official review by Lego's own team, and if it passes that, it can actually become a real Lego set sold globally.
So the community vets the ideas before Lego even invests heavily.
Exactly. It turns their most passionate fans into effectively unpaid product managers and market researchers. By the time an idea like, say, the Saturn V rocket or one of those cool movie-based sets gets the green light, It already has 10,000 confirmed vocal advocates who literally campaigned for it.
So it launches with built-in demand and buzz.
Huge built-in demand. These idea sets often sell out instantly and have much higher success rates than purely internal projects because the market has already validated them. The community feels ownership, which fuels incredible loyalty and viral sharing. It's co-creation at its best.
That's an incredibly smart way to de-risk innovation.
Okay.
Okay, beyond new products, what about just day-to-day operations or customer support? That's another big cost center.
Oh, the efficiency gains there are huge too, mainly through self-service support. Remember that moral responsibility.
Yeah, helping each other out.
Well, experienced users naturally do that. They jump in and troubleshoot common problems for newer members in forums or chats. They're motivated by helping peers, maybe by status within the community. This creates a massive 247 peer-to-peer support network.
Which means fewer basic questions hit the official support team.
Exactly. It can deflect a significant chunk, sometimes 20%, maybe even up to 50% of those simpler Tier 1 support requests. That directly cuts down on staffing costs and frees up the paid support agents to handle the really tricky high-value problems.
And all those questions and answers must be good for something else, too.
Absolutely.
Improved SEO.
Search engine optimization. How does helping each other improve Google rankings?
Think about it. Every time someone asks a specific question in the community forum and someone else provides a detailed answer, maybe with specific keywords, that's fresh, relevant, authentic content. Google loves that stuff.
User-generated content again? Right. The community is constantly creating this stream of keyword-rich Q&A, tutorials, discussions, all indexed by search engines. It boosts the brand's organic visibility, helps capture all that long-tail search traffic for very specific problems, and builds the site's authority over time. The community becomes a silent, always-on SEO engine.
Okay, so this community thing is paying off across R&D, support, SEO. It sounds amazing. But it doesn't just happen by magic, does it? Someone has to manage this.
No, definitely not magic. It needs careful nurturing, and that brings us to a critical role. The Brand Community Manager, or BCM.
The BCM. Okay, what do they do?
They're absolutely vital. The BCM is the human engine driver, the strategic link. They're the face, the voice, maybe even the nervous system of the brand within that community ecosystem. They need to be empathic, strategic, a communicator.
Sounds like a tough job. What kind of person does it take? What skills do they need?
It's definitely a unique blend. Our sources really emphasize, first and foremost, empathy and exceptional listening skills. They have to genuinely get the members their needs, their hopes, their frustrations, and communicate that understanding.
So less corporate speak, more real connection.
Absolutely. Second, they need authentic passion for the brand itself. You can't fake that. Enthusiasm is infectious and crucial for building trust. But here's the key differentiator.
Go on.
It's not just about being nice and liking the brand. The really effective DCMs have strong strategic and analytical acumen.
Meaning
they can track the data engagement metrics, discussion trends, sentiment shifts, and critically, they can translate all that rich, messy, qualitative stuff, the actual conversations, the emotions, the complaints, into clear, actionable, quantitative insights and reports.
So they take the community vibe and turn it into data that, say, the product team can actually use.
Exactly. Feed it directly to product, marketing, support, wherever it needs to go.
Yeah.
That's what makes the role truly strategic, not just reactive moderation.
Wow, that's a rare combination. Part diplomat, part data geek, part cheerleader. What are their main day-to-day responsibilities then? How do they balance keeping people happy with getting business results?
It's a juggling act. They handle moderation, of course, keeping the space positive and productive, but also proactive engagement, starting discussions, asking questions. Crucially, systematic feedback collection and dissemination gathering, filtering, prioritizing user input for the internal teams.
So they're the conduit.
The main conduit, yes. They also often organize events and programs, both online and offline. And a big one is ambassador management, identifying those super users, the real champions, and finding ways to recognize, reward, and empower them.
Can you give some examples of this in action? Brands doing this well?
Sure. Think about Harley-Davidson and HOG, the Harley Owners Group. That's a classic. HOG is all about building that emotional connection through a shared lifestyle. It's about camaraderie.
The rides, the rallies, the local chapters.
Exactly. The BCMs or chapter managers there aren't really selling motorcycles. They're facilitating the experience, the community. That creates loyalty that lasts for decades, often completely insulating members from competitor offers or even economic downturns. It's deep.
That's powerful lifestyle integration. What about a more digital example?
Sephora's Beauty Insider community is a great one. They have this massive online forum where members share incredibly detailed advice, product reviews, tutorials.
Very niche, very specific stuff.
Hyper specific. And Sephora's BCMs are masters at fostering that. They use gamification badges, status tiers, exclusive perks to reward engagement. It makes people feel recognized. The forum becomes the go-to place for beauty advice, creating huge loyalty.
And the BCMs there are mining that for insights.
Constantly. What trends are emerging? What products are people combining? What problems are they trying to solve that current products don't address? That intelligence feeds directly back into Sephora's strategy. It's worth a fortune.
Okay, so it's clear. A well-managed community built on those three pillars is incredibly valuable, a sustainable asset. But you mentioned a critical decision earlier. Where do you actually build this thing?
Exactly. If this community is so vital, so strategic, where should it live? And this is where we hit that massive problem. Building on rented land.
Rented land. You mean relying only on the big social media platforms, Facebook, Reddit, maybe Discord these days? Why is that so risky if the asset is core? Isn't it just easier to go where the people already are?
It seems easier up front, for sure, but the long-term strategic dangers are huge. It really is like building your dream house on land you don't own, where the landlord can just change the rules, hike the rent, or even kick you out whenever they feel like it.
Okay, so what's the biggest risk?
Number one is definitely algorithmic volatility. These platforms are constantly tweaking their algorithms, and let's be honest, those changes are usually designed to do one thing: make brands pay more for visibility.
Prioritizing paid ads over organic reach.
Always. We've seen it happen again and again. Brands spend years building a huge, engaged following on, say, Instagram or Facebook, and then boom, an algorithm update slashes their organic reach overnight. The connection to their loyal members gets choked off.
Forcing them back to paying for ads just to reach the people who already follow them.
Exactly. It breaks that sustainable model we talked about.
Right.
Suddenly your CAC spikes again because you're forced back onto that ad spending treadmill. The platform's business model directly undermines your community strategy.
Ouch. Okay, what else?
Second big one, loss of data ownership. This is huge. When your community lives on Facebook or Reddit, they own the data. All that rich interaction data, who talks to whom, about what content resonates, it belongs to the platform.
So the brand only gets limited analytics.
Very limited surface level stuff usually. It cripples your ability to do deep analysis, to really understand your members, segment your advocates, or make properly data-driven decisions about products or marketing. You're flying blind, essentially.
And you also lose control over the environment itself, right? The look and feel, the user journey.
That's the third point. Lack of control and a disrupted journey. You're stuck with their templates, their features, their limitations. You can't create a truly seamless brand experience. And maybe worse, your community exists in this incredibly noisy space.
Distractions everywhere.
Constant distractions, ads, notifications, other groups, cat videos. Everything is designed to pull your members' attention away from your brand and towards something else. It just fundamentally dilutes the focus you need for deep community engagement.
Okay, the case against rented land is pretty strong. Ownership seems crucial. But building your own platform, that sounds incredibly complex and expensive. Isn't that only realistic for giants like Lego or Harley?
Historically, yes, that was a major barrier. The technical lift was immense, but this is exactly where the game is changing, thanks to the rise of social network as a service.
SNES. Okay, what is that?
Think of it as the next step in community infrastructure. SNES platforms provide the tools, the architecture, the service layer that makes it feasible for brands, not just giants, but many more companies, to move off rented land and actually own their digital community space.
So it lowers the barrier to entry for owning your own platform.
Dramatically. And we need to see this SNES development in the context of the broader shift towards Web4.
Web4, what's the connection?
Web4 principles are all about things like decentralization, giving users more control over their data sovereignty, and creating these more secure, focused online environments. It's about empowering both the user and the brand, moving away from the control of the big, centralized tech giants.
And SNAS platforms fit into that.
Perfectly. Solutions like, for example, Linkspreed's Web4.community are built on these Web4 ideas. They are designed specifically to make owning your own customized social network technically achievable and economically viable. It's really the enabling technology that makes this strategic shift possible. It's frankly the superior approach needed now.
Okay, let's get practical then. What are the core advantages of using one of these owned SNAS platforms? Flexibility must be a big one.
Oh, absolutely. First is full customization and brand alignment. Because you own the house, you design it exactly how you want. 100% control over the user experience, the look, the feel, the features.
So you can integrate things seamlessly, like forums, chat, maybe even e-commerce.
Anything you need. Specialized forums, live events, learning modules, submission portals, direct e-commerce integration. It becomes a natural extension of your entire brand ecosystem, not a jarring third-party site. Plus, you get total control over moderation rules. You can set up custom rules, maybe even use AI tools to perfectly match your community's specific culture and values far better than the blunt one-size-fits-all rules on big platforms.
And this customization helps create that focused engagement you mentioned.
Yes, definitely. It enables the creation of micro-social networks, MSNs.
Smaller niche communities.
Exactly. With SNAS Tech, it's easier to spin up these focused groups, maybe around a specific product line, a particular interest, a geographic area, even different skill levels. This segmentation leads to much deeper, more relevant conversations. People aren't lost in a giant feed.
So it shifts people from just scrolling.
From being passive consumers to becoming active participants and even co-creators. Every interaction feels more relevant, more valuable, contributing directly to the shared knowledge and the brand's understanding.
Okay, customization, focus. But the really big strategic win compared to rented land must be the data, right?
Without a doubt, uncompromised data sovereignty. This is critical. With an owned platform, the company retains full ownership and control of all the interaction data. Every click, post, connection, sentiment, trend, it's all yours.
Allowing for a much deeper analysis.
Unrestricted analysis, you can truly understand user behavior, spot emerging needs, identify pain points, and feed that directly into strategy without any third-party gatekeeping. And linking back to Web4, because these owned platforms often give members more transparency and control over their data too, it actually builds trust.
Which reinforces that moral responsibility you talked about.
Exactly. In a privacy-aware world, showing you respect user data builds loyalty.
One last practical point. Speed. Building your own social network sounds like it would take forever.
Yeah.
How does SNAS help there?
It used to take forever, but the SNAS model really tackles that. Solutions like webcore.community are designed for accelerated time to market and scalability. They handle the core infrastructure, the hosting, security, base features as a service. This removes huge technical hurdles. You're not coding from scratch. Some platforms even use AI tools, like Master Architect features the sources mentioned, to speed up the initial design and setup.
So brands can launch much faster.
Much faster. It means you can get your own community space up and running relatively quickly, and then focus your energy where it matters most, on the human side. On the BCM's work of actually building the culture and engagement, not getting bogged down in years of back-end development.
Okay, let's try and wrap this all together then.
Sure. So to really synthesize the core idea here, a well-built brand community isn't just a marketing tactic. It's arguably the ultimate strategy for sustainable growth in the modern era.
Because it hits so many areas at once.
Right. When you get it right, it becomes this incredible asset that simultaneously lowers your long-term costs for things like support and marketing. It drives innovation that's already validated by your customers. It gives you priceless market intelligence, and it builds that deep, long-lasting loyalty, that emotional equity that competitors just can't easily replicate.
And the crucial takeaway for anyone listening, the real strategic linchpin here is ownership. This asset is just too valuable, too central to build on shaky rented ground.
Absolutely. Making that shift from relying on the whims of third-party algorithms on rented land to investing in a permanent, customizable, owned platform using SNAS technology like the Web4.community solution we discussed. That's not just a nice idea for the future. It's becoming essential. It's how you actually secure, control, and optimize this vital strategic asset for the long haul. It protects you and ensures you own your data, your destiny.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about that moral responsibility, the sense of duty the community feels. But here's a final thought to leave you with. If this shift to Web4 and owned SNAS platforms genuinely gives users more control, more transparency, real data sovereignty, how does that change the dynamic of that loyalty?
That's a fascinating question, isn't it? Does giving users more power, more control over their data and identity within the community, does that actually strengthen their sense of moral responsibility, maybe making them demand even more transparency and accountability from the brand in return for their continued loyalty? Or does it potentially make that loyalty more conditional? If users feel more empowered, maybe their commitment is easier to withdraw if the brand doesn't constantly live up to expectations.
It could go either way, couldn't it?
Yeah.
It sets up this really interesting negotiation between brand and community, between empowerment and allegiance, a dynamic we're probably just starting to see play out. Definitely something powerful for you to consider as you think about your own community strategy and the